Pavel Durov, CEO of Telegram, has been released from police custody ahead of a court appearance after 4 days of questioning over allegations that his platform is being used for illegal activities. More details in this following report.
Durov's detention stems from allegations related to insufficient moderation of criminal activities on the messaging app, particularly concerning drug trafficking, child exploitation and fraud. His arrest has sparked fears that it could jeopardize vital communications, especially as Telegram is heavily utilized by Russian soldiers for information exchange in Ukraine. The charges against Durov are severe, with potential consequences including a 20-year prison sentence. This arrest of a tech leader in a liberal democracy has ignited a global debate about whether online platforms should be held legally accountable for the content generated by their users. Critics argue that criminalizing tech companies for user actions is akin to blaming car manufacturers for crimes committed by drivers, questioning the fairness of such accountability. The hashtag #FreePavel has gained traction on social media, reflecting widespread concern over the implications for human rights. While French authorities maintain that the arrest is a judicial matter aligned with their commitment to civil liberties, the incident has raised significant questions about the balance between privacy and security. This is Aruj Fatma for Shia Waves.
Fatima. To discuss this further, we have with us political and international commentator Hossein Alizadeh live from London. Salam Alaykom. Salam Alaykum. Thank you for joining us today. Can you hear me? I think your mic might be muted.
Okay, sorry. So thank you for having me. Do you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Salam Alaykum. How are you?
Yes, thank you. How are you? Thank you very much. Thank you.
So to ask with the first question, what legal precedents could Pavel Durov's arrest set regarding the accountability of technology platforms for user-generated content?
Well, first of all, you know that he is a really prominent figure, and his Telegram is playing very important role for in user generated content platform. It is really a very wonderful platform using around the world.
Yeah.
Telegram is well known because of its encryption and safety and privacy. Now, for example, if you and I are using this platform from these two ends, is very safe. But the question for the governments is that what if criminals are using this very well encrypted system? For example, drug traffickers, child traffickers, terrorist groups, and so on and so forth. So, in fact, your question is about the question of battleground of between privacy from on one hand and state security on other hand. So, how to make a balance between these two? So far, none of the governments around the world were able to make any balance. And it was really shocking that in France, not for example in Hungary or Romania, in France, where which is well known for respecting law, they have arrested Pavel Durov, who is a very prominent and high figure because of just he was able to create and innovate this Telegram with well encryption. So the question is that by this, what would be the future of technology? It is not a matter of only Telegram and only Durov. There are other platforms now available for people, and there will be further platforms to come which are based on user generated content platform. So the question is that this will create, if he is held accountable, this will create a very bad precedent for the technology and all the other platforms, and also for, I mean, very intelligent people like Durov. And much worse is that this happened in a very important country like France. As I've said, this didn't happen in
Yeah.
second world second world country. So who knows that would have what would happen? In short, if anything bad happened to him and his Telegram, that would create a very bad ground and precedent for the future.
So my next question then is how might this incident affect the ongoing discourse around freedom of speech and privacy rights in democratic societies then?
Two things, in fact. Well, first about the freedom of speech, and second about the startup to come. Not only about the freedom of speech, but also the new startup companies want to innovate similar platforms. So this will be a question for them. Should they censor themselves? Should they follow the very bad restriction of their countries? Remember, when we are talking about the freedom of speech, this is the wish for the all dictatorial countries and governments around the world, that they also want to to follow, to find what is said between the activists, for example, human rights activists, political activists. So from any aspects you look at to this arrest, it has a very profound negative aspects, whether in the field of the technology or the field of the human rights,
Right.
whether in the field of the freedom of speech and any other things. So we have to wait to see what would happen for the drop in few days to come.
I see. Thank you very much for joining us today, Hussein Alizadeh.